Have you thought about if Donald Trump wins? Have you thought about the possibility he might use the power of the federal government against you personally?
Yeah, I have, but I'm comforted in the fact that he's coming after you first.
That makes you feel better?
Yeah.
During a lively exchange on Asterisk Jimmy Kimmel Live Asterisk, George Clooney showcased his signature charm and wit while delving into a conversation about his high-profile career and personal anecdotes. Known for his roles in blockbuster films and his outspoken political views, Clooney didn't shy away from addressing the unpredictable nature of political rivalries. With the 2024 presidential election looming, the discussion took a playful yet pointed turn as Kimmel probed Clooney about potential repercussions from a familiar political figure. Clooney's response was both humorous and defiant, reflecting his knack for blending levity with sharp commentary, all while keeping the audience engaged with his effortless charisma.
Yeah. Trump is a big fan of yours. I don't know if you've seen this, but he posted in July. So now fake movie actor George Clooney,
yeah,
he doesn't know that movies are fake, does he?
I don't think so.
Who never
Hannibal
came
Lecter
close
is
to making a great movie, is getting into the act. He's turned on Crooked Joe like the rats they both are. What does Clooney know about anything, says the host of Celebrity Apprentice. Clooney should get out of politics and go back to television. Movies never really work for him.
All right, I will if he does.
On the neon-lit battlefield of Asterisk Jimmy Kimmel Live Asterisk, where quips fly like shrapnel, Kimmel lobs a grenade of gleeful sarcasm at George Clooney, dragging Donald Trump's Truth Social tantrum into the spotlight. Picture this: Kimmel, with the smirk of a Cheshire cat who's just spotted a canary, unravels a tirade where Trump, the bronzed baron of bombast, storms the digital ramparts to brand Clooney a cinematic fraud. The humor's as rich as a triple-layer cake. Kimmel's deadpan, he doesn't know movies are fake, does he? Is a zinger that could double as a sitcom tagline, skewering Trump's apparent inability to grasp that Hollywood isn't a documentary factory. It's satire with a sledgehammer, mocking a man who once lorded over Asterisk Celebrity Apprentice Asterisk like a reality TV Caesar, now clutching his phone to hurl insults at a Tinseltown titan. The pacing's tighter than a drum solo, each jab building to a crescendo of absurdity that's pure late-night gold. Kimmel's playing the gleeful provocateur here, tossing red meat to the crowd with a wink that says, "Can you believe this guy?" Then Clooney saunters in, cool as a cucumber in a freezer, and delivers a response that's less a comeback and more a velvet knockout. "I don't know. I will if he does." It's a line so effortlessly slick it could have been plucked from a noir script, dripping with the kind of understated swagger only Clooney can muster. He's the unflappable rogue to Kimmel's eager jester, turning Trump's bluster into a boomerang with a single breath. The character dynamics are electric. Kimmel's the spark, Clooney's the slow burn, and together they roast the contradiction of a former TV host telling a movie star to stick to the small screen. The critique: it's a gleeful jab at Trump's thin-skinned bravado, a man who'd rather tweet than retreat, tangled in a feud as ludicrous as a reality show plot twist. The writing shines in its brevity and bite, wordplay sharp enough to cut glass, pacing that dances, and an absurdity so vivid it's practically a cartoon. This is Clooney vs. Trump round one, and the laughs land harder than the punches.
Poll numbers come up and go down. I would expect them to go back up again. Donald Trump's numbers went up. And he was just this knucklehead. I knew him before he was, a president. He was just a guy who was chasing girls. Every time you went out, he'd come over and be like, "What's the name of that girl?" That's all he was.
George Clooney's remarks about Donald Trump offer a candid glimpse into the former president's persona before he entered the political arena. Clooney, who knew Trump prior to his presidency, characterizes him as someone who lacked the gravitas typically associated with a future leader. Instead, he paints a picture of Trump as a frivolous individual, more preoccupied with superficial pursuits than with the responsibilities that would later define his tenure in the White House. According to Clooney, Trump's behavior was marked by a lack of depth, as he seemed primarily focused on trivial matters, such as pursuing women, rather than engaging in meaningful or substantive interactions. This portrayal aligns with criticisms from others who have described Trump's pre-political life as one dominated by celebrity culture and self-promotion. Clooney's comments also reflect a broader skepticism about Trump's suitability for office, suggesting that his past behavior was indicative of a lack of seriousness or maturity. By describing Trump in such terms, Clooney implicitly questions how someone with such a background could transition into a role requiring statesmanship and diplomacy. The actor's remarks further underscore the cultural divide between Hollywood and politics, as well as the enduring fascination with Trump's unconventional rise to power. Clooney's dismissal of Trump as a knucklehead not only serves as a personal critique, but also resonates with those who view Trump's presidency as a departure from traditional political norms. Ultimately, Clooney's perspective adds to the ongoing discourse about Trump's legacy, framing him as a figure whose personal history continues to shape public perception long after his time in office.
I know Donald Trump. That's the thing, is people, I have his phone number in my phone book. He was the guy that came to the bars and asked me about which cocktail waitress was single. That's who he was.
This was back in the 90s.
Well, not that long, no, back in the 2000s, quite honestly. And so there's this part of you that just goes, well, that guy shouldn't be president. But I was wrong, and he was. And our democracy, I believe, paid a price, certainly around the world.
George, with all the nonchalance of a guy who's dodged paparazzi and bad scripts for decades, paints Trump not as some towering political titan, but as a sleazy barfly, the kind of dude who'd sidle up to you at last call, reeking of cheap cologne and cheaper intentions, asking which cocktail waitress might be desperate enough to give him a wink. It's a deliciously low-rent image, Trump as less leader of the free world, and more that guy you'd avoid at a dive bar, a walking punchline in a tacky suit. The humor here isn't loud or slapstick. It's a sly, slow burn, like a comedian pausing just long enough for the crowd to catch the absurdity before delivering the knockout blow. The satire, it's sharper than a stiletto in a Tarantino flick. Clooney doesn't just mock Trump, he dismantles the mythos, stripping away the gilded MAGA armor to reveal a schlub who's more at home chasing skirts than steering a nation. The critique lands like a velvet-gloved sucker punch. This isn't about policy or ideology. It's personal. Can you believe this asterisk guy? Jab that cuts deeper because it's so damn relatable. Who hasn't met a Trump type at a bar, all bluster and no substance? And then there's the kicker. George admitting he was wrong about the election, a rare flash of humility from a man who's usually too cool to flinch. It's a brilliant twist, self-deprecation as a weapon, turning his own misjudgment into a mirror for America's collective, what the hell just happened moment. The pacing is tight, too. Casual anecdotes flow into biting commentary without missing a beat, like a jazz riff that sneaks up on you with its depth. The personalities shine through like neon signs in Vegas. Clooney's the smooth operator, wielding wit like a rapier, while Trump's reduced to a caricature, a cartoonish relic of the 2000s, pre-Twitter tantrums and golden hair dye. The absurdity, it's baked into the premise. A Barum Lothario somehow stumbles into the Oval Office, and democracy takes a global hit like a boxer past his prime.
And I worry about the possibility. I don't think it's as good as some people are afraid of, but I do worry about it. I think we're in a time where we need some interesting candidates all around the board.
George Clooney's reflections on the state of American politics reveal a deep concern about the direction of democracy, particularly in light of the potential for a contentious electoral rematch. His apprehension stems not only from the polarizing nature of recent political figures, but also from a broader unease about the erosion of civility and integrity in public discourse. Clooney, who has been vocal about his activism and commitment to social justice, views the current political climate as a troubling departure from the values he believes are essential for a functioning democracy. His skepticism about the likelihood of a return to past political turbulence suggests a cautious optimism. Yet his underlying worry reflects a recognition of how fragile democratic norms can be when tested by divisive leadership. Clooney's perspective is shaped by his personal experiences, including his encounters with Donald Trump before he entered politics. These interactions left him with a lasting impression of Trump as someone fundamentally unsuited for the presidency, a view that was later challenged by Trump's unexpected election in 2016. This dissonance between Clooney's expectations and the reality of Trump's political success underscores a broader theme in his commentary: the unpredictability of democratic outcomes and the dangers of underestimating the appeal of populist rhetoric. His acknowledgement of being wrong about Trump's electoral viability speaks to a humility rare among public figures, as well as a sobering realization that charisma and celebrity can sometimes override traditional qualifications for office. Beyond his critique of Trump, Clooney's remarks highlight a yearning for a more substantive and inspiring political landscape. He expresses a desire for interesting candidates who can elevate public debate and offer visionary leadership, rather than relying on divisive tactics or personal grudges. This sentiment aligns with his lifelong advocacy for justice and equality, values instilled in him during the socially turbulent 1960s and 70s. Clooney's upbringing, steeped in activism and a sense of moral responsibility, informs his belief that political engagement is not just a choice but a duty, one that requires courage, especially when confronting power. His concerns about the coarsening of America are particularly poignant, as he laments the normalization of cruelty and the weaponization of issues like immigration for political gain. The example he cites, of migrants being used as political pawns, illustrates his broader critique of a political culture that prioritizes scoring points over solving problems. For Clooney, this trend is not just a political failing but a moral one, reflecting a society that has lost sight of its ethical compass. His call for a return to kindness and empathy in public life resonates with many who feel alienated by the current state of politics, where hostility often overshadows constructive dialogue. Despite his worries, Clooney's outlook is not entirely pessimistic. His emphasis on the need for compelling candidates suggests a belief in the potential for renewal within the democratic process. He seems to hold out hope that voters, when presented with genuine alternatives, will choose leaders capable of healing divisions rather than exacerbating them. This optimism, however tempered by realism, reflects his enduring faith in the resilience of democratic institutions, even as he acknowledges the work required to safeguard them. Ultimately, Clooney's commentary serves as both a warning and a call to action. It warns against complacency in the face of democratic backsliding, while also urging citizens to demand better from their leaders. His personal journey, from disbelief at Trump's rise to a more nuanced understanding of political dynamics, mirrors the broader societal reckoning with how easily norms can be upended. Yet, his insistence on the importance of participation, whether through activism or voting, underscores his belief that change is possible when people engage with the political process in good faith. In many ways, Clooney's perspective bridges the personal and the political. His reflections on aging and the passage of time, framed through conversations with his wife about their halcyon years, add a layer of introspection to his political commentary. This duality reinforces the idea that politics is not just about policy, but about the kind of world we leave for future generations. His desire to simplify life and focus on family in his later years contrasts with his unwavering commitment to public issues, suggesting that for him, the personal and political are inextricably linked. By weaving together these themes, concern for democracy, the need for moral leadership, and the importance of civic engagement, Clooney offers a holistic critique of contemporary politics. His voice, shaped by both his celebrity status and his activist ethos, carries weight. The real question isn't whether Trump will ever evolve, but whether America will ever stop being mesmerized by the spectacle. Has reality TV politics become our new normal, or is there still room for substance beneath the showmanship? When does entertainment cross the line into dangerous distraction, and have we already passed that point? Clooney's sharp critique forces us to ask, are we laughing at the absurdity or being played by it? Where do we draw the line between political engagement and being unwilling participants in someone else's ratings game? The floor is yours. What's your take on this circus we call modern politics? Share your thoughts below.